Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Termite Machine Works, and my name is Keith, and we have broke loose our dividing head from the Bridgeport and we brought it over here to the K&T, and our project on the K&T is to go ahead and set it up and cut the one slice in the middle that will break loose the slit line that we just finished milling in over at the Bridgeport. And we want to do that before we actually pull this off of the jig. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dividing head and we're going to mount it square on the table, and then we're going to slide off our overarm here, and we're going to set up I think we're going to set up the stagger tooth cutter. Even though this here is about 150 on the width and this is 1/8, our actual slot is about 100 thousandths, but I'm working, we know what the slot's for. It's for just clearance so that when you tension down on the drawbar, yeah, where did I put it? Okay, I did put it over here. So when you tension down on this draw stud here and push these two cylinders closer together, it clamps around the spindle itself. And I got it setting here on here. It's kind of just giving me the last look at a partial assembly with all these pieces kind of like setting on spacers and everything else, so it holds it up and looks proper, or close to what it would look like if it was whole. And so, and I'm choosing a stagger tooth over a straight cut tooth because I want another way of freedom of cut, just like the turbo end mill cuts and hogs off with less tool pressure and less effort. The stagger tooth cutter has the same type of characteristics. It has a free side on the tooth and it has a working side on the tooth. So I'm going to do that, but we're also going to be doing a few other things here too, and I'm going to set this up so that we're going to be pulling this nut out, because this nut is not going to let me go down to depth with. I only have a 4-inch cutter here, and I got an 1 1/4 drawbar. I do have a larger cutter and things like that, but I just, you know, I'm just not, I don't want to go there. You know, I want to keep it short, keep it stout, and I'm pretty sure that I can come down and get exactly what I want out of this thing. But we're going to be changing it up. We're going to be pulling this off of here, but we're going to set up with some machinist clamps, and we're going to be squeezing and holding this thing together. It's going to be on the mandrel, so all the pressure is going to be pushing sideways on the mandrel and not really creating the cut without lift of your part. That's the name of this game here that I'm going to be playing with, setting up and cutting this groove. So let me bring you in close, and I'm going to start getting this all set up. Okay, let's go ahead and let's fire this on up. Let's go ahead and bring in the carriage here a little bit. Yeah, I think we'll use those middle grooves right there. Same thing as we did on the Bridgeport. We're just using the ways itself to align the head. Okay, now we know we're going to be cutting in that direction there, and this head here needs to be rotated around, so that's what we'll do. We'll bring that around here. Now we'll be coming in on this side here. Now, just to start off here, we're going to go ahead and pull off our arm here. That way we got some visual here that we can look at. And we know we're not going to be using that cutter there, so we can pull this off of here. Now, let's just, before we actually, well, we can change that. We know that we're going to choose this stagger tooth here, 150 thousandths roughly on the width. All right, we're just setting that up there, but we want to see how we look as can we get close enough there. You know, we're running out of room back here, and look, we're just about right on center there, so we're going to need to come out a little bit to be a little more comfortable. So I want to go ahead and I want to slide this key out. Yeah, we can come out a ½ inch or so. Then we'll put the cutter. We like that one. We're going to go ahead and we're going to bring our bearing support out here and give ourselves some pretty wide open, clear throat depth in here. Okay, when I'm tensioning, you notice I used a brass key. If you jam or you ever grab one of these cutters, I've had it slice through the brass keyway and not wipe out an arbor. And you know, I'd rather sacrifice the cutter, if anything, and not damage the arbor itself. And you can throw in another piece of key stock. Sometimes it actually saves both parts, but I just wanted to answer that phone, I guess. All right, now I want to go ahead and pull this top cap off of here. I could do it now. There's no reason why I gotta wait and clamp it or anything, because we're located with that dowel. It's not going to pivot anywhere. But you can go ahead and I'm going to put these up here. I think that one can go that way there. There we go. All right, and we can do the same thing here. All right, we'll tension those down a little bit later. I do have one for the back, same thing. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring this thing, let's go ahead and bring it back here. Just we're going to be working on that side anyway. Okay, pull this out. I really like these Umbraco 3-inch, ½ inch set screws. They almost make a better stud for your clamp set than the ones that come with it. And they also give you threads all the way down to the end. All right. I'm coming out here and I'm trying to take the width of the area I'm going to cut and place it underneath the bottom of that cutter. That way I know when the cutting teeth are going this way here, they're only pushing sideways. If you were to get way on this side here, it would be on the uphill, and then you would be wanting to lift that part with your tool pressure. And if you were on the other side there, then you'd be wanting to dive down. That's why I really haven't tightened these up here yet. I don't know if I want them to go in straight or what we're going to do, because I need to make sure that we have clearance underneath here. And am I going to be able to run a support on this overarm, or am I going to have to move this over here, come out here and carry a support in as close as I can and let it free ride out here? We're going to be finding that out here shortly. Okay, now the hand crank is going to come on here. I made this so I can throw this on and off. I have all the hardware and attachment that this can stay on here all the time, but this does block another 4 or 5 inches out here, and it seems to be a catch-all when you're not using it, so I like it to be like that. All right, so I'm going to crank this up somewhat, about 1/8 of an inch there from there. Okay, I'm going to bring over a couple scales that I like to use here. Now, we're going to be coming almost 1 inch deep, so I need to make sure that I can travel downward 1 inch from everything that's going to be setting here underneath this bar. And right now I'm about 1/8 of an inch there, so I need to know that I have about 1/200 over that. So I should be able to clear this bar to this part here. Everything else is going to be a questionable deal. Okay, we don't need to wrap it around anywhere right now, so I'm going to shut this down just so it's a little quieter. We don't have that noise in the background. I brought you in because now we're into the crucial area. This is it. I've moved the clamp. It's still loose, but I position it over here. I'm looking for 1.25 inches because that's what I basically have. I have about inch 150. We only need to have 1 inch come here. It's about 1.25 inches down from where it's at now, and I have about that underneath here. I know I'm going to clear there. This clamp is going to clear over here, no problem. That'll come up behind there, especially if we move it like right there. This one here is fine back here. Everything is stout, good there. Now we're going to put the carrier bearing up here. We're going to take a look at the clearance in on here. Okay, so it's just got to be on that bearing there. That gives this into the bar stability. All right, I still haven't fully tightened this up yet, I don't believe, but I know I do have to check that again. You always want to double check all your tensions on there. We'll be tightening this up here. I'm pretty happy with that. We got a good amount of room all in here. So I think this is going to be a winner. Now, we're going to be cutting that way there. Remember, I have part of that male protruding up of the aluminum inside the bore. So when we get down close to the end of that cut, we're actually going to be pushing the part against that aluminum. That's why I saved this cut for last. Okay, like I told you, I'm going to finish off this other groove by hand, and I'll show you that after we get this cut. But for right now, we're just setting up here. All right, I'm going to double check my tension here on the bar. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start taking my scales, and we're going to take the two slugs and we're going to slip it in here, and we're going to get exact center as close as the scale. This is just an air gap. That's all it is. Creating an air gap and giving it room to squeeze together with the clamping bolt. Okay, we're just doing the final tension on this clamp here. We've got the other ones in the back, and I think that's going to be stout enough right there. All right, now let's go ahead and we need to put those two slugs in here. Okay, and we should be able to measure over to our teeth, and we're going to measure from the tooth out to here on both sides, and we're going to move it in and out, and we're going to scale it to be center or equal between these two cut points. We know that these two cut points are equal from our indexing and cutting them over in the process on the Bridgeport. Okay, we're holding these in here, and I measured from this tooth over to, well, let me turn it over. Okay, this tooth over to the face here is 600, and we hold it from there and over to the next tooth in line, which is that side tooth, and we got 600 there as well. All right, so we are equal side to side, and we're going to lock our table there. And I don't think there's too much else to do except for just make sure that's clamped. We already checked this. We put oil in here. We already pre-lubed that. Knees locked up and down, and cross feed is locked down, in and out. We're good. All right, let me fire this thing up. We'll get in position here, the best viewing as far as the cut, and let's get cutting on it. Okay, we're just doing a last measurement right here, and we're just under 1 inch as far as the height, maybe 975 from there to there. All right, when we when we start touching there, I'm going to go ahead and set my 0 on my dial here. I just want to make sure I get the screw here. Okay. All right, it's loose. Okay, and RPMs, we're going to be at the lowest RPMs, which are 35. And we're not going to run any coolant. I just moved the coolant line. Too bad I didn't have the video on it because I just spilled coolant. There's still a little residue right there, but I cleaned up and wiped up most of this right here. Speaking of that, I am definitely going to want to have some catch-all rags here to catch some of this cast iron, ductile iron material here. Okay, the rest of it will probably end up in the center cavity. All right, here we go again. Okay, just started, and I'm a little bit, well, it's pretty close to the split line in the middle there as far as where I'm cutting. I moved it that way just a little bit and then pulled it back so I'm always positive on the hold. All right, so I'm going to set my 0 right there. Okay, I'm just going to crank it. About 90. Staying real calm. No vibration. About halfway down through that arc there. Lots of air clearance between everything still. We got about 300 to go. Okay, we are starting to cut in on the aluminum on the inside. We're down to that depth there. I can see a little bit of aluminum chips coming around the cutter and landing on this side along with the ductile chips. About 150 to go. About 40. We're coming down the last wire here. Shouldn't really spring apart like steel. Steel will get... Okay, we're through. Okay, and it took that little piece right there. And I'm at 0 here, which is probably a coincidence. All right, I'm gonna crank it back out. I'm gonna stop this first. No sense, no sense in messing up now. I am through. Awesome. Okay, I think it's time to go ahead and remove the part from the mandrel. Okay, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and clear our tooling off of here first. And put our stuff back up on the shelf here. All right, we're going to pull off the clamps. And I think I had a little Allen wrench I used on that one. I'm going to have to drill that out so it matches those. I like using that broken off scribe. Really works nice. Made it nice and round on the end. Really smooth for that. All right. Now that pin might be, I'm going to get a punch that pin down. There probably is a little bit of just raised interference probably with the that was a good fit there. Okay. Go get a putty knife, get underneath that lip there. Okay. Just needed a little head start. All right. It is to the hole on the outside. You can see that there, all the way around to the hole there. But on the inside, it is just slightly away from the hole on both sides. All right, but the split line is good. So we actually have a part that represents our sample. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish bringing that slit down square with those radiuses all the way through there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull the dividing head off of here, and we're going to set up a vise, and then I'm going to grab a hold of this in the vise and clamp it, and then I'll grab a few other things there and I'll show you how I'll hand finish that off. I think I got everything here that I'm going to need to go ahead and finish this slot off here. Alright, what I want to do first off is I'm gonna take and I'm gonna hacksaw the rest of this. Now I don't want to gouge or get my hacksaw into the bottom and create a hacksaw scar in the bottom of the radius. That would defeat the whole purpose of putting a radius there to relieve any stress rising areas on that point right there. We got a really nice 332 radius. This is a 1/16 slot, so it'll go in there. It'll be almost like a spoon on a keyway. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and put two pieces. I have some silicone rod, brazing rod here, or TIG rod, and I'm just going to go ahead and take my cutters here, and I'm going to cut two ends because the ends are really good and they fit in kind of snug. And I'm not necessarily going to try to tap them all the way through, but if I can get them started in there to where I can take a punch and punch them back out, I'll be doing just fine. Alright, so I'm just putting these in here just so that I know that it'll stop my hacksaw from going down into the opening. I don't care if I put a hacksaw scar on the silicone bronze rod. That one went in pretty good there. I'm not going to try to force it any more than that right there. Alright, then I can set this in the vise, and I'm going to go ahead, I mean, we're not milling on it, but just to have it, I have a nice square edge right there. Alright, now one hacksaw is a little tight in here, but I believe two Linux 18 pitch tooth blades stacked together are a 1/16 of an inch. Alright, so now all we need to do is mount them into our saw together. Both of them are pretty tight in there. It's holding them pretty good together. I like that. About a 1/16 more to go. Okay, I'm starting to cut in on that one there. Okay, it feels like I'm right down on silicone bronze on both of those. Pull that up, and I stare down, and I'm looking at silicone bronze straight on through that groove. Okay, now with it in there, pull that one out. Pull that one out. Glad you had your safety glasses on. Okay, we got just a little feather in each side there. I'm going to put these back in. I was seeing that, but it does show a little tiny feather inside. Let me look in here. Yep. I want it to be clean. All right. Now I know what I'm looking for. I think that side is almost completely clear. And this side here just has a little bit more. All right, let's pull them out and take a look at it now. Okay, we're clean and clear. I like that. Okay, let's see if we can get you a close look up at it. All right, see if that's that side there. And that side there. All right, a little bit of polishing. We can take off our bluing, break all of these sharp edges right here, and I think we're ready to start doing a fit in the housing and check and see how our split line fares out, and grabbing our repair stuff that we plan on doing a repair to that one thread and getting this done and putting it to bed.